Understanding Russian influence on government elections in the United States of America requires understanding Russia Today, the Moscow-based television news network known as RT. RT is distributed in various languages via cable, satellite, and the internet, with a daily audience measured in millions. Russia Today allows American reporters, activists, academics, celebrities, and politicians to criticize American society and politics to degrees rarely allowed by American commercial news networks. ABC News reporter Lauren Lister hosted a global finance and economics program on Russia Today called Capital Accounts. Russia Today employs American news personalities, including former CNN host Larry King and ex-MSNBC host Ed Schultz. Austin, Texas-based radio show host Alex Jones occasionally appears as a guest on The Kaiser Report, hosted by U.S. citizen Max Kaiser on RT. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange hosted The Julian Assange Show on RT. RT is financed by the Kremlin. The Kremlin is the fortress in Moscow that houses the Russian government. Mikhail Lesin founded Russia Today in 2005 while serving as Russian President Vladimir Putin's mass media relations advisor. Russia Today says Lesin is credited with the idea of establishing RT as an English-language television network to convey Russian positions to the international audience. It's been a long time since I was scared by the word propaganda. We need to promote Russia internationally. Otherwise, we'd just look like roaring bears on the prowl, Lesin said. Russia's President Vladimir Putin talks about RT to RT on RT. When we designed this project back in 2005, we intended introducing another strong player on the world scene, a player that wouldn't just provide an unbiased coverage of the events in Russia, but also try to break the Anglo-Saxon monopoly on the global information streams. And it seems to me that you're succeeding in this job. On January 25th, 2017, the Wall Street Journal says most TV networks seek to be paid fees in return for their channels. RT has instead opted to pay for its network to be carried by major U.S. operators, including the nation's largest cable company, Comcast Corp., satellite TV operator Dish Network Corp., and Charter Communications, Inc., the second largest cable company. The recent U.S. intelligence assessment alluded to this more unusual business practice. RT has offices and studios in Moscow, New York, Miami, Los Angeles, and the Washington, D.C. On August 1st, 2014, Radio Free Europe reports U.S. Senator Roger Wicker has asked the Justice Department to investigate whether Mikhail Lesin, Russian President Vladimir Putin's former press minister, violated the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act or laundered money by acquiring multi-million-dollar homes in the Los Angeles area. Following his government service, Mr. Lesin moved his immediate family to Los Angeles, California, where he acquired multiple residences at a cost of over $28 million. Wicker wrote that a Russian public servant could have amassed the considerable funds required to acquire and maintain these assets raises serious questions. These include a 13,000 square foot Beverly Hills home purchased in August 2011 for $13.8 million by Dastel Corporation, where Lesin's son, Anton Lesin, served as a corporate officer. Business Insider says since 2013, Lesin's son, Anton Lesin, has produced 4 major Hollywood movies with stars including Arnold Schwarzenegger, Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, and Woody Allen. Radio Free Europe says Dastel Corporation also purchased a 10,600 square foot Brentwood home for $9 million in 2012. By the way, the Los Angeles coroner says Breitbart News founder Andrew James Breitbart died March 1st, 2012, after collapsing on February 29th at 148 South Barrington Avenue in Brentwood, Los Angeles. 148 South Barrington Avenue is the address for the Brentwood Restaurant and Lounge, located less than 2 miles from the Brentwood home owned by Mikhail Lesin. On Saturday, November 7, 2015, the Washington Times reports a prominent Russian millionaire with high-level ties to President Vladimir Putin was found dead inside a Washington, D.C. hotel. Mikhail Lesin, 57, the former head of media affairs for the Russian government, who's been accused of curtailing the country's press freedoms, had been staying at the Hotel DuPont, where he was found Thursday. Russia Today reported on its website that Lesin died of a heart attack, and the state news agency RIA Novosti cites a family member giving the same cause of death. The Daily Mail UK, November 12, 2015. The shock death has created an eve of speculation in Moscow that it is related to previous reports that Lesin was helping the FBI and could be murder. Some 16 months earlier, U.S. Senator Roger Wicker had called for a Justice Department probe into whether Lesin was engaged in money laundering. The Daily Beast, March 10, 2016. An ex-aide to Russian President Vladimir Putin did not die of a heart attack in a Washington, D.C. hotel room last year, as was previously reported, but from blunt force injuries of the head, as well as the neck, torso, upper extremities, and lower extremities, a spokesperson with the D.C. Medical Examiner's Office told the Daily Beast. Almost immediately after Lesin's body was discovered in November 2015, the broadcasting outfit RT, widely seen as a Kremlin mouthpiece, reported that Lesin died of a heart attack, citing an unnamed family member. The mystery surrounding Lesin's death had fueled speculation that Lesin was murdered after coming to Washington to cut a deal with the FBI. On October 28, 2016, NPR reports, nearly a year after former Russian press minister and Kremlin insider Mikhail Lesin was found dead in a downtown hotel in Washington, D.C., U.S. authorities have ruled his death an accident and closed the case. While the announcement from the U.S. Attorney's Office is unlikely to put such conspiracy theories completely to rest, the findings appear to be straightforward. The statement read, "Based on evidence gathered during the investigation, Mr. Lesin, 57, entered his room at the DuPont Circle Hotel for the final time at about 10:48 a.m. on Wednesday, November 4, 2015, after days of excessive consumption of alcohol. Based on the evidence, including video footage and witness interviews, Mr. Lesin entered his hotel room on the morning of Wednesday, November 4, 2015, after days of excessive consumption of alcohol and sustained the injuries that resulted in his death while alone in his hotel room. He was found dead late on Thursday morning, November 5, 2015. Mikhail Lesin created the television news network Russia Today, also known as RT, to be a pro-Russia propaganda outlet financed by the Russian government. Instead of charging a fee to carry RT, the Russian government pays Comcast Universal NBC TV, Dish Network, and Charter Communications to broadcast Russia Today on the biggest cable and satellite television systems in the United States. Before his death in November 2015, Lesin faced possible FBI scrutiny for alleged money laundering through real estate purchases in California, including a $13.8 million home for his Hollywood movie-producing son. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Mikhail Lesin died by accident from blunt force injuries of the head in the Washington, D.C. Russia Today operates a broadcast studio in the Washington, D.C. Russia Today awards U.S. personalities like Alex Jones and Larry King the privilege to criticize American politics and values with fewer limitations than U.S. commercial news corporations. Russia Today founder Mikhail Lesin paid for that privilege with his life in the Washington, D.C. Understanding Russian influence on U.S. politics relies upon accepting the fact that RT remains right at home in the Washington, D.C. That's the life lesson from Mikhail Lesin.